Shalom, and welcome back to By His Grace Marriage Ministry Podcast. My name's Amanda. Shabbat Shalom to those of you that keep the seventh-day Sabbath, whether you begin your Shabbat now at sundown or in the morning at sunrise. I pray that you have a blessed, restful, and peaceful Sabbath. Praise Yah, my favorite day of the week. All right, so I'm coming to you all to share some exciting news regarding the podcast and then a couple of updates in regards to the audio scriptures. So I'm going to first start with quick updates on the audio scriptures, and then I'll share the exciting news. I'll save the exciting part for last. Praise Yah. Okay. So in regards to the audio scriptures, so I am so thankful that I have been able to record and publish the writings of Abraham. There's been no issues with that. So it kind of, for me, I don't know. I feel like, I think maybe the issue with Jubilees and Jashar may have been because they sound so similar to Genesis. This was a theory that I had. Because I had no issues with anything else, no other books or anything like that, except for Jubilees and Jashar. And so my thought on that, my theory was maybe because they sound so similar to Genesis, but yet have a different title. Maybe that could be why they're flagging it as copyright or infringing. And so anyways, I have some ideas on that I'm going to try to do to hopefully get those books recorded and out to you all so that they're available for you all to listen to. I'm thinking maybe something as simple as just changing the title, maybe including the name Genesis in there. Maybe that might help. I don't know until I try it and see if that works. Because praise be to Yah, I've been able to record the writings of Abraham, and I've had no issues with that. Praise be to Yah. So, have a little bit more to go with the writings of Abraham. And once that book has ended, my plan next is actually to do the Book of Wisdom, which is in the Apocrypha, the Matmonim. It was also, highly regarded as scripture because it was included in the 1599 Geneva and the 1611 KJV. Alongside with several other books before they were removed. I also really like that book because as the title states, it's full of wisdom. It's, when you look at the 66 canon and the Apocrypha together, you have a few books that have to do with wisdom, which is, of course, Proverbs. And then you have Ecclesiastes, which King Solomon wrote both of those books. And then you have the book of Sirach, known as Ecclesiasticus, and then you have the book of Wisdom. So there's 4 books, and I may be missing one. I feel like I'm missing one. There's 4 books total that I know of that are concerning, wisdom. And so I want to go ahead and get that recorded and get that released to you all so y'all can listen to it in Yahushua's name, that there's no problem. So after that, my goal is to try Jashar or Jubilees again. I don't know which one, maybe Jubilees, and hope for the best. If not, I have another idea in mind. I have a book that I want to share with you all that's going to tie into a marriage word. This is actually a really amazing one. I read this book. I came across it and was like, oh, this is a treasure for sure. So I'm really excited to share that. I just don't know when I will be, but it will definitely be coming out soon in Yahushua's name, that everything goes well and that there are no issues moving forward. So I just feel like that's happening to a lot of people, like in all these platforms where those of us that are walking in the way of the truth, that are releasing videos or music or whatnot, I feel like random videos are just getting, taken down. And so, yeah. And I'll share a better example of that here as soon as I share the news. So, but anyways, that is the update concerning the audio scriptures. I pray that so far they have been a blessing for you all and that you are enjoying them. And I'm going to try to do my best and really dedicate time and commit myself to recording as much as I can. And just, in Yahushua's name, whatever is his will. So praise be to Yah for that. And it's really been a blessing for me as well, because as I record these, as I read these, I'm also, just kind of immersing myself in Yahuwah's word almost daily. And it's been a tremendous blessing for me in this season. So praise be to Yah. So those are the updates concerning the audio scriptures. And now for the exciting news in regards to the podcast. So my podcast is officially on YouTube. It made its debut yesterday, partially. I have over 200 episodes, and so it's taken a couple of days to get everything transferred over. But praise be to Yahuwah, my podcast is officially on YouTube. So if that is of interest to you, if you would prefer to listen to the podcast on YouTube, you can absolutely do that. So just search for my YouTube channel, which has the same name as the podcast ministry, By His Grace Marriage Ministry. It should pop right up. I don't know that anybody else has that name. I hope not. It should pop right up. The picture is it shows like some sapphires with 2 stone tablets of the 10 Commandments, along with like a couple on their wedding day getting married. And it says like the Torah or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but then it should have my name, Amanda Yesharel. And if you feel led to, please subscribe and share. Get it out there. Again, my goal and my heart for this ministry is really just to get it out there, to share with as many brothers and sisters as possible so that they can hear truth surrounding marriage and family, Yahuwah's way and through his word. And I've talked a lot about this throughout the podcast, but with so many false doctrines being taught surrounding marriage and various topics within marriage, divorce, remarriage, family, blending families, all these things, I feel like, the churches of men specifically, and there are many, are out there just teaching, things that are an absolute error. And so my heart and goal with this ministry is to, share truth. And I use the word share and not teach, because I'm not teaching. Yes, I offer counseling. Yes, I try to help people if they reach out to me, whether it's that they need prayer or they want to vent or they need advice. I'm more than happy to do that, because, Yahuwah has graciously and mercifully given me knowledge and wisdom concerning these topics, not just to apply to my own personal life and to have had prepared me for what he was bringing in my life, but to help others, to share truth and to help others, and I've always said this, that, I feel like our callings usually come from the places that we were broken the most throughout our lives. And the biggest area of my life that was just really dysfunctional and full of brokenness for me was family. I come from a broken family, a very dysfunctional family. My parents divorced, and I come from a long line of those types of things. And I just find it absolutely incredible that Yahuwah called me into a marriage ministry, because honestly, I always thought it was going to be children's ministry, because I love children so much. I love working with children. I love being around children. I love caring for them and nurturing them, and I still do. And so I really thought that I was going to be in children's ministry, and so I was absolutely surprised, even though my desire has always been, for marriage, and I've always loved that and always saw it as so beautiful. But I was really surprised when, the Father called me into marriage ministry, and then, he gave me so much understanding and knowledge surrounding this gift that he's created. And again, not just to prepare me in my own personal life, but to share it with others. And he gave me so much, brothers and sisters, that I had journals full of just me writing down stuff that he gave to me through his word or through dreams or, however that he gave it to me. And that's where a lot of my episodes come from. And, a few books here and there that other believers have, written and I felt was in alignment with Yahuwah's word. And so I would share them as well. So, and that's what my podcast is made up of, So praise be to Yahuwah. And, it's really interesting because, when he had started to reveal to me that one of the ways he wanted me to serve was through a marriage ministry, I had no idea where to even begin and how that was going to look. I had seen other people with ministries that would utilize social media, and I figured that was probably going to be what I was going to end up doing because I'm not, like in a physical fellowship or church or anything like that. And so I feel like Yahuwah has really taken social media and has given it as a platform to many, to serve in that way and to have their ministries and to reach other brothers and sisters. I mean, that's how many of us came to this, movement of being in the way and the truth, being Hebrew, being Israelites, I would have never known had it not been for social media. That's how I was able to connect and learn and just come to truth, of course, along with Yahuwah revealing it. And it's amazing how he works. So he can take anything and use it, right, for good. We know this. And I truly believe that's the case with social media, because social media, of course, has its dark side, and Hasatan will also take whatever he can and use it for his, his operation and plan and things like that. So the way that it started for me, honestly, was through Facebook. And at the time, my Facebook account was totally deactivated or even deleted. I think I had to create a new Facebook. I just have never been much for social media. I saw the blessing in it of being able to connect with people far away from you and to meet new people, especially for me, that I've always kind of been isolated. So it was a blessing for me in a way, but I've just never been big on social media. But I felt that was the start. That was going to be the platform. And so I ended up creating a Facebook account. And my ministry was basically me just typing out these really lengthy posts and posting them for whoever was on my friends list to see. And, I will tell you, it didn't really go so well. Number one, I didn't have a lot of people on my Facebook. Number two, I realized that a lot of people aren't really into or willing to take the time to read a lengthy post. I think we've all kind of gotten pampered and spoiled with all of these new ways that we can communicate and do things, and all these shorts and live streams and videos and so on. Nobody really wants to read a lengthy post anymore. I personally don't mind. I love to read. So I don't mind taking the time to read a lengthy post or article or blog. I like to read. But I realized that a lot of people just aren't about that anymore. I think it's kind of considered old school now, if you will. So I wasn't reaching a lot of people. I had, some people reach out to me, message me and say, hey, I love your posts. They're really helpful, and this and that. And that was great. And then I remember just kind of praying, is this going to grow more? Where do we go next with this ministry? How's this going to look? And I remember not long after hearing about podcasting, and podcasting was something that I was not at all familiar with, had never really utilized it. I had heard about podcasts, but never took the time to listen to any or even see what they were about. So completely foreign to me. And I felt like Abba, the Father, was leading me in that direction, which I was thankful for, because I was really nervous about growing my ministry, even though I wanted it to grow, mainly because, believe it or not, I'm camera shy. I actually don't like to be on video very much. And I'm praying about that, because it has to do with insecurities. It has to do with just getting, breaking out of that comfort zone. But when I learned that podcasting was just you speaking or talking and recording yourself, there's no video, I thought I could do this. I had also always been told throughout my life, and not to say this out of pride or boasting, but I've had people throughout my life tell me, hey, you have a great voice, like your voice is really nice. When you speak very clear and concise. When you read very well, and so on and so forth. And I appreciate that so much. And so I thought, well, I'm not good with videos, even though there's a blessing in being able to, again, to connect with people through, these video chats and things like that with people you're distant from and stuff. And I can do that. And it took me a little bit to get used to that. But once I saw the blessing in it, I was much more relaxed and didn't mind being on camera. But as far as like recording myself and things like that, like it just really wasn't for me. So when I learned that podcasting was basically talking, there's no video, you're just recording yourself talking, I was like, I can do this, and then keeping in mind all the compliments that I've received, throughout my life, in regards to, how I speak and things like that. So I felt really good about this, and I felt like Yahuwah was highlighting that this was the next platform to take the ministry on, to grow it even more and to reach more people. And so that's what I did. I did some research and I got started. And praise be to Yah, the process was relatively simple and easy for me to understand. And I began the podcast. The ministry turned into a podcast. And I now today have over 200 episodes. Praise be to Yahuwah. It's been October of this year will make 2 years. And I'm just so thankful, because it's been an amazing experience. It's been a blessing for me, and I pray it's been a blessing for others. But, towards the last several months, I really began to think again about the YouTube platform. Because even though it's only been almost 2 years, the podcast thankfully has reached, quite a bit, it's reached people, but not a whole lot as I've seen people, on YouTube with their ministries. And again, for me, it's not about fame or popularity or even trying to make an income, okay? For me, it's about getting truth out there, sharing with others, and helping others. That is my goal, and always has been from the beginning with this ministry. So it's a podcast, but it's a ministry. That's what it is first and foremost. It's a ministry that then turned into a podcast. And so the thing with YouTube, though, and one of the other reasons why I stayed away from it, number one, because Yahuwah again led me to podcasting. I think it was like steps, baby steps. Like, okay, let's start here first. Because then I felt like fairly recently, he was like, okay, it's time to now move up a next level. The next level for me being the world of YouTube. Because with YouTube, and let me tell you, I am somebody that is thankful for YouTube, because I utilize YouTube on a daily basis. That's how I connect with my fellowship. There are some great ministries on there that just bless me tremendously all the time. And that's basically my form of even watching TV. Whenever I do watch TV, I don't watch anything, all that garbage that's out there, like cable and all these apps, free apps that they offer you to stream. It's all garbage, So I stick with YouTube. That is my main form of viewing. So I utilize it all the time. I've just never really used it to create content or have my own channel per se, or even though I have a channel, But, to utilize it in form of a ministry or to just upload content, create content, and so on, I've never done that. So I'm clueless in that area. But yet I've seen so many people, and then so many brothers and sisters utilize it. Now, the thing with YouTube is, just as many other things in this world, YouTube has a very dark side. The other sad, unfortunate thing is that you have brothers and sisters, so you have believers who proclaim to be believers that are utilizing YouTube for the wrong reasons. For example, there are many, and I actually did an episode about this, just warning people to be careful, because there are many people going on YouTube claiming to have these gifts like a prophet, and just prophesying to people and tickling their ears, and there's a lot of that out there. And one of the biggest things that I noticed was there was this trend that took off, and I actually did a separate episode also in regards to this, warning people to be careful, because there was this huge trend going around about kingdom marriages, and it was this huge delusion. Basically, people creating these channels, saying it's their ministry, claiming they're prophets or prophetesses, tickling people's ears, telling them what they want to hear, and then charging them and trying to make an income. Because YouTube is known to where, if you get far enough, it can become a decent source of income, is my understanding. And I truly believe that's probably why so many people started doing it. So when I started learning this, I was like, because my ministry is also a marriage ministry, at the time, I didn't want my ministry to be mistaken to be like all of the other ones, because I was far from that. Number one, my goal is not to try to make my ministry an income or a job. My ministry is to serve Yahuwah and to serve others. To me, and this is my personal opinion, I'm not trying to offend anybody. This is just my opinion. But if Yahuwah calls you to a purpose or your calling, unless he says specifically, this is how I'm going to sustain you, is through this ministry, I don't believe that we should be trying to make money off of serving others or off of the calling that Yahuwah has brought us into. And yet I've seen so many people do that, including all of these churches of men that are out there. And I just I personally don't think that's what Yahuwah would want, unless he specifically tells you, I'm calling you this ministry, and through this ministry is how you're going to be sustained. I just, apart from that, I could never take my ministry and try to turn it into a job. I just, serving to me it's not a job. Serving is serving, if that makes sense. So I just didn't want my ministry to get mixed up in all of what was going on, and probably still is, especially because there was, again, this huge trend or fad or whatever you want to call it going on YouTube about these kingdom marriages, and people coming on, I had a dream, and this is what Yahuwah is saying, or this is what God is saying about the dream, and just tickling people's ears. I actually had people, several people that basically, I had watched a video one day. I made a comment on the video, and then I was telling people that, if they needed counseling, whatever, or if they wanted more information, I'm not trying to steal this person's thunder, but you're welcome to check out. I do have a podcast that, just kind of talks about this stuff. And I had a few people interested. They reached out, they went to the podcast, and they emailed me. And, it was disappointing, because basically they were looking for what they were looking for on YouTube, for prophecies. And I said, listen, that's not what this ministry is about. This ministry is just shedding truth surrounding marriage and family. I am in no way prophesying to anybody. I'm not tickling anybody's ears. That's not what this is about. That's not at all what this is about. I'm sorry, and I lost people that way. But you know what? I'm sorry that I wasn't what they were looking for. But again, this ministry is to serve in the form of helping to share truth, to shed light on all this error and false doctrine going on out there, including on YouTube. So I'm sorry if it's a disappointment, but that's not what my ministry is for. So anyways, I just didn't want to get mixed up in that whole thing that was going on YouTube. So that was another reason why I was just like, I feel like now, a lot of that's still going on, but it's kind of died down a bit. And the thing was, I didn't realize that YouTube, now I don't know if this is something that occurred recently or this has been for some time. I didn't know that YouTube now has podcasts, I thought podcasts was its own world, it has its own platforms and so on. I didn't know that YouTube had that feature. So again, I don't know if this is something that's recently happened or it's been for some time. I don't know. Again, even though I utilize it daily, I just wasn't paying attention to that. So when I realized that, I just felt like everything started lining up. And I felt like Yahuwah was like, okay, it's time. Because I do feel that my ministry being on YouTube, hopefully in Yahushua's name, will reach more people. Because let's face the facts. YouTube is a very popular social media platform. Millions are on it. Millions use it. I don't know if I'm exaggerating, thousands of millions. I don't know. I just know it's a lot. And I do know I have seen people have their ministries on YouTube successfully, and has just been a blessing to so many people. And that is my prayer. That is my hope. And that is my goal for my ministry, if that's Yahuwah's will. So anyways, I did some research, was praying about this, and the other night, this was like at 2:00 in the morning, and Yahuwah was like, he gave me the green light, do it. So I started the process, and it was fairly simple. And praise be to Yahuwah, I was approved and was able to transfer almost all of my content onto YouTube. So I think I'm missing like 20 episodes because there was over 200 to be transferred. So it's still going to be on Spotify, but now it's also going to be available in YouTube if you prefer to listen to it through YouTube. So it's going to be exactly the same format as it is on Spotify, to where you're just listening to me. You're not seeing me or anything. It's still going to show my ministry picture that you see on the podcast. So it's still technically a podcast. It's just now available on YouTube. Praise be to Yahuwah. I'm really excited, and I really am praying that it's going to reach more people. So for those of you who have been listening to the podcast, who have been following, if you feel led to, please, subscribe to the channel and, spread the word. If you know somebody that may benefit from this and it may be a blessing to them, let them know. And maybe people prefer YouTube maybe over Spotify or something like that. So again, so many people utilize YouTube. And so that's kind of my hope and prayer, is that it will reach more people, just because more people tend to kind of gravitate towards YouTube versus a podcast platform. So that is my hope and prayer. I am still working out some kinks. So again, there still needs to be some episodes that need to be transferred and downloaded onto YouTube. And then I have to actually manually go in, make everything public. Just to let you all know, I am turning off the ability to leave comments, just because I'm not ready to venture into that yet. People can be really nasty and mean. I'd rather just people reach out to me via email if they have questions or concerns or comments. I don't want to open up the comments because it can just start so much, and I'm not ready for that yet. So I have to manually go in, fix all of that, and then I'm going to have to put a lot of my audio scriptures in order, because in the process of transferring and uploading everything, I don't know why, but it's done it all out of order. So my podcast has always been seasons and episodes. Well, all of that went out the window. I don't know if it's like in the same order that I had it in the podcast. But I'm more concerned with the audio scriptures because I'm reading from books by chapters, and I want to make sure they're in order. So if you are going to start listening to the audio scriptures or their podcast or YouTube, just be sure to look at the titles and make sure that you're going in order. But I'm going to do my best to get everything organized and taken care of. So yeah, I'm really excited, brothers and sisters. I feel like this is a milestone in the ministry. I feel like this is possible growth that can take place. And again, more importantly, that it could, hopefully reach more people. And again, that's always been my heart and goal for this ministry. And of course, to, honor and esteem Yahuwah in the process. Praise be to Yahuwah. And again, the audio scriptures has been such a blessing as well to be able to do that. I know that there are a lot of people that are looking more for audio scriptures to just listen to, which is another reason why I wanted to get that on YouTube. I've had people tell me, I find them, but they sound like a robot, or for those that are in the way and the truth, I can't find any with the Father and Son's names, and so on and so forth. And so yeah, I really pray that it reaches people and that it blesses people. And I'm really excited for this opportunity. I feel like, now is the time. And I'm really excited. So praise be to Yahuwah. I will add one more thing. If you all feel led, I'm going to ask if you can please pray over the podcast being on the YouTube platform. I unfortunately yesterday already received a notification that one of my episodes was removed per YouTube standards and policies. And because of that, I received a warning. So I guess the way it works with YouTube is you get a warning and then you have 3 strikes. And you get 3 strikes, you're out. I think they pretty much delete your channel. So I, of course, don't want that to happen because, again, I feel like this is an exciting opportunity for the ministry. But, the other thing is I literally transferred over 200 episodes. I don't remember a lot of what my episodes entailed, in detail. I know what I've talked about, but I'm praying that there isn't going to be anything else that they find that goes against their... and I think what happened was the episode they removed was the episode where I was talking about grafting into Israel. I was sharing my testimony. I probably mentioned, what's gone on the past few years and health-related stuff and jabs and things like that. So I think that's what happened because it said that my content wasn't safe and went against medical something or other. So I'm assuming that's what it had to do with. So I'm hoping and praying that I didn't mention anything else like that in any of my other episodes, because how sad would that be to have gone through all this, done all this work, get it all uploaded, to then have my channel basically deleted. That wouldn't be good. Plus, my podcast is literally on the channel that I utilize daily that has all my playlists and all my things, and that would just be not good because I would lose all of that. I would have to build that all back up again. So if you could just please be in prayer that there won't be any other issues with any of the episodes, and then moving forward as I continue to record, I will keep in mind that I have to be careful with certain things that I say or talk about. So I don't know. So again, there's only 16 episodes that's left to upload. I haven't heard anything today. I would imagine, though, it takes some time for them to kind of comb through everything. It is a lot of content. And I'm just hoping and praying that there's no more issues moving forward. So if you can please just pray in regards to my channel, my YouTube channel, and the ministry or the podcast, I would be so, so grateful to you all. So that is the exciting news that I wanted to share and the updates that I wanted to share concerning the podcast. Praise be to Yahuwah. Again, I'm really excited. I'm really thankful. This ministry has been such a blessing and has taught me so much along the way. And I pray that it's blessed others. And I'm just thankful that, he's called me into some kind of purpose, and to be able to serve him and to serve others is just an incredible blessing. and just fills my heart with so much joy. And so I just pray that His will be done through all of it, and that it blesses others. So again, I'd love to hear from you all. I do have the ministry email, byhisgracemarriage@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you all, whether it's just say hello or if you have questions, if you need counsel or advice, or prayer, if you have prayer requests, anything like that. I'd love to hear from you all. Don't be shy. Please feel free to reach out, and I would love to connect with you all. So anyways, I guess that's it. Thank you all so much for your support here on the podcast platform and with the podcast ministry. And I really do hope to see you all. Not see you all, but I really hope that you all will check out the YouTube channel, subscribe, and please share if you feel led. Help get the word out there. Help it to reach other people in Yahushua's name. So, all right, that's everything. Again, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. I pray you have a blessed, restful, and peaceful Sabbath. And thank you so much for listening. And I will talk with you in my next episodes. Shalom.